Severn Bridge, part of the new motorway network that's breaking down the differences between one region and another. It isn't so long ago when you could travel from one part of the country to another, Devon, Northumberland, Cumberland, Kent, and wherever you went, you'd find a wide variety of local dishes. But the sheer convenience of factory food and the ease of distribution has covered the country with a kind of uniformity, from the Severn here right up to Stornoway and Stromness. We thought it might not be a bad idea if we looked at the old traditional skills in producing and preparing food before they died out altogether. Now, the Severn here is about 2 miles wide, and it's the most tidal estuary in the whole of Europe. In its muddy waters are varieties of fish harvested nowhere else in Britain. Around it lies a fertile plain warmed by the Gulf Stream, a highly productive place where things have always grown easily. In the past, almost every cottage kept a hardy outdoor pig or two. So much home produce meant a simple diet which nevertheless emphasized the strong flavor of food. Outside the Darrell Arms in the Vale of Berkeley, the older men look back with regret at the changes they've seen. Berkeley, with its rich grazing, was once the home of Double Gloucester. They have long, fond memories of the way cheese used to taste.
You can either wash or eat this stuff they give you now.
Of course,
it's like soap.
This junk what they gives you now, see, this junk what they gives you, they call it cheese, it's not matured and there's no rind on it. And if you put a bit on to toast in front of the fire like you used to, before it would shed a tear, it'd go back in the face.
Yeah. You see, this cheese that they're using today, they make it today and use it tomorrow. But the old Gloucester cheeses were in the farmhouse dairies for a 12-month.
12 months is rather long for even a Double Gloucester to reach its peak, but it's always been noted as a first-class cheese to cook with. A Severn-sized speciality is Gloucester cheese smeared with mustard, doused in ale and baked. You melt it and pour it over slices of hot brown toast, and you eat it with pickles and beer. Double Gloucester is no longer made in the traditional way. Most of it comes from a factory or creamery in Somerset. But on this Gloucestershire farm, an attempt is being made to recreate the original cheese. It used to be made in small quantities on farms from the milk of a cow called the Old Gloucester. It's a breed which is nearly extinct. Charles Martel believes that the milk from Old Gloucesters, which has a small fat globule, is ideal for cheese making, and he's trying to re-establish the breed. These docile, mahogany-coloured cows can be identified by the white stripe down their back. Note them well. There's only 9 bulls and less than 70 cows left in the whole of England. Although their milk is first class and high in solids, just the thing for cheese making, the yield isn't as high as in other breeds. Dairy farmers, wanting more and more output, wouldn't bother with them. If Charles Martel succeeds, he'll be the first man for 30 years to produce real farmhouse Double Gloucester. Can it be done? And could it really be successful on so small a scale? It's certainly worth the effort. Cheeses produced in big creameries are completely unlike the farmhouse product. Avis Colnett, a dairy expert who knows Gloucestershire well, appreciates the difference.
The farmhouse Double Gloucester had the personal touch. The person who was dedicated to cheese making in many cases, and therefore produced a more mellow, a really fine type, typical double. Whereas in a factory, when you're making, as you realize, 500 gallons at a time, I found that the quality of the cheese, though good, can't be as good as the personal touch on, say, 1 or 2 cheeses, you see.
The personal touch, the art of hand and eye, is all important. Machinery doesn't cut and stir so gently. A lot of the richness is lost into the whey. The milk of Old Gloucester cows gives a rich curd, and those small fat globules produce a fine, even texture. After 3 pressings and up to 6 months maturing, the cheese should be mellow and slightly pungent in flavour. Mass-produced cheeses are all too often mild and bland, especially when they haven't been given time to mature. They tend to be over-pressed so that they won't crumble. A cheese that crumbles is no good for pre-packaging. But Martel believes that there are still some cheese lovers left who'd go out of their way to buy the richer, tastier farmhouse version. If real Double Gloucester has faded from the scene, other local delicacies still flourish. Every spring, the Severn receives its annual abundance of elvers. These young silvery eels have swum 2,000 miles from the Sargasso Sea, a 3-year journey which more than likely will end in a frying pan.